Hello, everybody. Welcome to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at the news station, 1320 AMW. I'm Justin Ferreira, the sports master, and first, a quick word from our sponsor. This segment of 4 Deep Sports Talk is made possible by the generous support of Diesel Direct. Diesel Direct, the national fuel resource in 46 states, boosts a fleet of over 900 fuel delivery trucks. 4 Deep Sports Talk would like to congratulate Diesel Direct on its 25th year anniversary. Thank you, Diesel Direct, for your unwavering support, helping us provide a platform for high school and youth athletes in southeastern Massachusetts.
All right, so we are currently live on our TikTok page with our guests, the Division 6 Super Bowl champions, Fairhaven Blue Devils. So do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Coach Almeida from Fairhaven.
And I'm Jay Stewart.
What position do you play?
I'm the quarterback.
Oh, okay.
So we are so excited to have you guys in here. Welcome. I just want to give out a shout out to Dom. I know he's having a medical procedure done up in Boston, and so I know he's listening, and he'll probably call in at some point. But Dom, you know, we got this. So don't worry. Our guest made it in, and we're just very, very excited. The kids have their questions lined up. So we have Matt on the board. Matty the Hitman?
I guess so. That's what Dom's calling me now. So
I like that. I like
run with that for now. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask where that comes from, the Hitman?
I think he just gave me that nickname out of nowhere. Really. At first he was messing up my last name, but so then I think he just came up with a nickname so he wouldn't have to say my last name.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was kind of out of the blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ask him later, but.
And so we have also Justin, who is AKA our sports master. We were going to run down scores, but since we have some pretty cool guests in the studio today, we're not going to do that. We usually run down scores at the last 15 minutes, just to tell everybody how, they made out. So, and then we have KC, Catherine Conley. She is our expanding into our social media presence here, and she'll let you know we are live on TikTok as well as.
I also want to mention for those of you watching live on TikTok, feel free to comment any questions you guys have for our guests.
And also, this is Lucy Cabral, and as you know, I co-host this show with Dominic, and we're just so excited to have the 2023 MIAA Football D6 State Champs. So welcome. So questions. Want to start?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, very professional, Justin. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Coach, for the people listening, could you please tell everybody about your coaching experience?
Sure. I started out as an assistant coach actually at Fairhaven for a year when I was still in college at UMass Dartmouth. And Fairhaven is where I grew up and went to high school. And then I had an opportunity to head down the Cape to Falmouth, and I was an assistant coach there for many years, and I was teaching there as well. And then I had an opportunity to coach at New Bedford Vocational, which was a little closer to home. So I did that for a few years, and then finally got my first opportunity as a head coach at Falmouth High School. I think it was in 2014, and I was there for 6 seasons. And the opportunity opened up in my hometown at Fairhaven, and there was a math teaching job as well. And it was kind of right during the time when COVID hit.
Oh, wow.
I actually went in for the interview for the football job. I believe it was 3 days before everything kind of shut down.
Oh, wow.
And it kind of, I guess, was a changing of the guard time, for everybody. And so I think it was, if there was a time to make a move, it was probably then. So I got the opportunity and kind of ran with it from there. And I've been the head coach since, I believe it was 2020 when I got the job. So.
Wow.
And so do you also teach math over there?
I do. I'm a math teacher at high school.
Ironically, does that help with football?
I think it does. I think in general, being a teacher in the classroom with the kids all day, you get to kind of experience what they're going through in school, and we love that release after school to get out and play and have fun and enjoy ourselves in practice and games. And, the kids, I think, are stuck in a classroom all day and they want to get out and get moving. And I'm the same way, and I do enjoy teaching math all day and being in the classroom and learning and exercising the brain. But I certainly love the competition after school and the athleticism that we take part in.
So how did you get into football and actually, was always with you?
Well, I grew up 2 blocks from Fairhaven High School.
Okay.
And my father, Dana, who was still on our staff, he's a retired football coach and teacher. He was the head coach at the time.
Oh.
So I basically was at every Fairhaven High football game probably while I was in my mom's womb,
Oh.
in the baby carriage. And then
So it's really full circle, isn't it?
I got to be on the sidelines for some great 1980s and 1990s teams and got to play there myself. So I've always loved football. I've enjoyed it. I think football really truly becomes a family game. Whether you play it or not, everybody's on Saturday or Sunday sitting around the TV and watching football together. So I think football brings people together, and it's an intense game. It's a game that requires a lot of different strengths and attributes, and I have a passion for it. I love it. I think it's always going to be a part of my life.
Awesome. I understand you're coach of the year also.
Yeah, I think when your team has success, you get some individual success along the way. So I think any of those awards are really team awards. Our really exceptional running back has also got some of that same treatment this offseason.
Right.
And he's been rewarded with quite a few individual awards, and he'd be the first one to tell you as well that those are truly team awards. And
Absolutely. That's
when
Justin
you're running
Marks,
for Justin
right?
Marks, yeah, and he ran for 38 touchdowns. Your
Pretty
your
good.
offensive line has a big deal to do with that, and
Yeah.
your quarterback, the guy sitting next to me,
Yep.
the guy handing off to him and making all those decisions, plays a big role in that. So, individual accolades are great, and I think, but really they're really team awards when it comes down to it.
Absolutely. Team sport. And so, our QB here, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Jay Stewart. I've been playing football at Fairhaven High for 5 years now. I grew up in Fairhaven, and my parents ran the Pop Warner organization in town. So I was pretty much born onto a football field. And my brother played at Fairhaven High, so I was always around it. And there was nothing more I wanted growing up than to play there and to wear blue. And this run we had this year was so special for me, and it was really full circle. Because, growing up, we didn't win a lot. And once Coach over here came to Fairhaven, everything changed. Our whole culture, and there was a winning attitude. And we finally got some pride back in Fairhaven that we were missing for a long time.
So when did you know it was going to be a special team?
Oh, I knew from the start.
Yeah, he was a little earlier than me, I think, on that train. I think there were a couple little comments in the paper earlier in the year that people were sending me that my quarterback made. So I think he had a little more confidence in us than I did, which I think is a good thing. But you want to be a confident player. I think coaches can be a little more worried about everything else. So sorry I cut you off
True.
there.
Especially from the quarterback, you want
Right.
the quarterback to be confident. Did you always know you wanted to be a quarterback?
Oh, of course, yeah. Like growing up, I started actually off playing Pop Warner as a receiver, and I just wanted the control. I feel like having that control and being that important to a game is something. It's a different type of rush. You know what I mean? And having that, it was the best feeling in the world to go out there every Friday night and have the game in the palm of your hand.
It's kind of leading your team, yeah, in a sense.
Yeah. All right, Sports Master, what's your second question?
What's the best part of winning the Super Bowl?
To me, it's the camaraderie, doing it with people you're close to. And, our staff is a really close staff, and we spend a lot of hours together. And this was a special group of kids that, we really enjoyed working with. And when you do it with people that are like-minded, they're competitive and want to do the best thing for each other, I think that's really what makes it the most special. I know the send-offs and the parades and the rings and the jackets and the handshakes and all that stuff are nice, but
And the trophies.
exactly. But when you can look at each other in the eye on the bus and know that everybody put everything they had into it, that to me is what's special. And I think whenever you have those moments in anything you do in life, that's the stuff that you remember more than anything. So I don't know if you want to chime in on that, Jace.
Yeah, you
There must have been some pasta nights in there, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, as a team, we spent so much time together throughout the year, and our senior group, we were very close knit. Those are my best friends, and I felt like we really led this group. There's not a lot of us. There's only 6 of us, and that we had a really strong junior class that's coming back next year. And the way we played together, it was amazing, especially down the stretch.
So you've been together, for the past 4 years growing up with them?
Yeah.
Nice.
So actually coming into it, our 8th grade year, there was only 2 of us, and a couple guys trickled off freshman year. There was only like maybe 4 or 5, and then we lost those guys going into our senior year now, and we had a couple transfers come in that were very important to our success, and they did a lot for us coming over from our rival school, which was pretty ironic. But yeah, we were a good group together, and I'm glad we had the time that we did together.
It's awesome.
These guys were really close. Like you could tell that there are some really close friendships on the team. But what I really enjoyed is the interactions between kids that weren't like the best of friends, but they really respected each other and the effort that they put in and the time they put in. So, even if it's not people that they're hanging out with a ton outside of school, I think they got along really well because I think they had that common goal, how competitive they were and how hard they worked. And I think they appreciated that of each other. So you saw some kids that were much different from different groups of the school and, kids that do some different things outside of football. They all meshed very well together. And I think it was really just the respect that they had of the work that they put in.
I was just going to say that. It's a respect thing.
Yeah.
And when you hand that down to the underclassmen, they make the best of themselves and they bring out everything while they're playing on the field with their coaches, with everybody. And I think that's a great thing. It's a team sport, and it should be. Awesome. Anything else, Justin?
I think we're ready to take our first break here.
Oh, great.
So, you've been listening to WRA 1320 AM 40 Sports Talk. We've been interviewing the Fairhaven Blue Devils Super Bowl champions. So we'll be back right after this. And we are back here at WARA 1320 AM. Again, we're interviewing the Fairhaven Blue Devils Super Bowl champions. And we're back here, Justin Ferrer, the sports master, Catherine Conley, KC, doing the TikTok streaming for everyone, Lucy Cabral, and our Fairhaven team here, Coach Derek Almeida and the quarterback, Jay Stewart. So we'll hop back into it. I'll start here. So what do you think the Super Bowl just meant to you guys and overall the community as a whole?
Yeah, it looks like you had a lot of community support.
Yeah, I was
You know,
gonna
they were with you
mention that,
all
yeah.
the way. What was that like, especially for the team?
Well, it's a small town. I
Right,
think
right.
everybody knows each other, and everybody has a relative that played there or is growing up in town and wants to play there, that type of thing. So it's a close-knit community, and I think they really came together and supported this team. And it had been a while since Fairhaven had that type of success. So I think when that happens, everybody kind of naturally gravitates towards it. But again, it's a testament to these kids. I think they're kids that are well liked in the community. They're out there doing the right things and making good decisions, and they see them participating in other sports and coming into restaurants and helping out with the Pop Warner program and different things
Nice.
like that. I think it was a group that the town really wanted to support. So it was special. I mean, when you're driving around town and you see signs and you see people out waving, and we visited the schools, both in Fairhaven and Acushnet,
Oh, wow.
leading up to the Super Bowl, and then on the day of the Super Bowl, that was pretty special. And we plan on coming back and showing them the trophy and paying our respects back to them a little bit. But yeah, it was special. We really felt that, and I think, without it, I don't know. I don't know if we go as far as we did. I think that gave us that little extra juice, that little extra momentum. When you're standing behind a team up in, we were up in Mansfield for our semifinal game the week before in the quarterfinal when we knocked off the top seed. We were up in Norwell. And we traveled. We had a lot of fans, and that makes a difference when you go up somewhere and you're looking around and you're all by yourself on the sideline. You really got to provide your own energy all the time.
Absolutely.
And that's difficult to do in sports. That's all levels. You go to professional games, and the teams that are home and the teams that are away, the records are. It's pretty crazy how swayed they are to the home team. So. We had to travel to finish out the year. We played one home game in the playoffs, and the rest of the way it was on the road, and the town really came out and supported us, and I think we needed it.
That's great. Jace, what was it like to play at Gillette?
It was an unreal experience.
I bet.
It's a lot bigger than you think it is. Like I thought going into
It went quick though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it go so fast?
It was a faster game. Yeah.
It's just like it's over.
Yeah, but walking into it, I was like, oh, it's just gonna be like any other game. Like, it's not that crazy. And then you look up and you look at like all the seats, and you're like, oh my god. But yeah, it was playing a game there. There was just a different type of energy. I mean, it made you feel so important, and there's no way any of us were gonna leave that stadium without a win. So I felt like it made us play at a higher level than we played at all year by being there.
It must just be different. It's just I can't imagine just
Yeah.
playing on the same field that the Pats play on. No,
Right?
not as good anymore, but still.
There's hope. There's
Yeah.
a lot of hope there.
I usually
I'm pretty
watch.
excited about that.
I usually get to watch those games on TV.
Right.
They do a good job of broadcasting it, and you watch the teams play. And unfortunately, a lot of teams get up there, and you can tell there's a little nervousness. There's a little out of character play. There's some turnovers. Sometimes it's a little bit sloppy, and a lot of times those games are a little uneven. They end up with one team kind of taking advantage of some things. And we went up there and we played really good football. We made some mistakes and they made some mistakes, but I think generally both teams played hard and played well. We went up there with the right mindset, and we came out on top.
So, Coach, did you have a game plan going in? I'm sure you did. Strategizing and plays and executed beautifully.
Well, everybody kind of talks about game planning and how do you prepare for this team and that team, and we honestly put almost all of our preparation into how we're going to defend people and how we're going to play defense.
Yep.
That's our number one goal all week, is trying to figure out how we're going to stop people, and because you don't get to control what the other team's doing offensively. And in high school football, we see different offenses every week.
Oh, yeah.
Much more variation than you see at college and NFL level. So, your plan for one team is going to be a lot different than your plan for the next. Whereas offensively, we kind of come out and do our thing. We don't really vary too much from what we're going to do. And we put in a couple wrinkles here and there, and we try to find some ways to take advantage of the other team's strengths and weaknesses. But As far as a plan, it was more just being ourselves and just getting better at every little thing that we do, and we played Thanksgiving the week before, and we played a really tough team, and, it came down to the end. We won on a last-second field goal. But that game showed us things that we needed to work on and improve on. So I just think it was a matter of, every week trying to get a little bit better at everything that we were doing, and then, kind of tailor that plan towards the team that we're playing. And Salem was an incredible opponent. They had some unbelievable offensive weapons, that you really had to figure out how to slow down a little bit. I knew we weren't going to stop them completely. So, that kind of went into the plan too, where we had to be willing to give up some yardage, but hopefully not give up the big play too often. But it was really our offense that just controlled the ball, like we'd done all year, with Jace making really good decisions in the option game. Our offensive line dominating at the point of attack, and our backs blocking for our fullback Justin, and Justin getting some tough yards when he needed to. So game plan wise, it was really just be the best version of us. And I think we did that.
Yeah, absolutely. Got you this far, right? So 12-1 record. Your only loss was to Apponequet. Talk about that. What'd you learn from
take
that?
that one, Jason.
Yeah, that was a tough week for us. I feel like they played us tough. It was their senior night. Like, they had a lot of things going for them that night, and we, especially early, we struggled a little bit on the road, and we went there, and it was a tough environment, and we just didn't come out as fast. Offensively, we were a little stagnant, and I felt like maybe we pop a couple different runs here and there. It's a different game, but
it was still close.
yeah, it was close. But if you think about it, in those games, Justin's getting 25 plus carries. That game, he only touched the ball 13 times. Like, there's a couple different things that could have happened to change it, but they played us well. They had a really good running back over there, and he played very well in the second half, and just got out of reach. But we needed that loss, I think.
Yeah, it kind of puts things in perspective, right?
Yeah.
You learn.
Everybody has a bad day at the office. Even the best teams ever can have one bad game.
Absolutely. So talk about Justin a little bit. Who is Justin?
No relation to me, by the way.
Not you, the running back.
Yeah, he's a monster. Best football player I've ever played with, and he's still so young. He's not even 17 yet.
Really?
Wow. He's going in and he runs people over, and he does things in such a physical way, and you don't see anybody outwork him ever. So, I mean, it was great playing with him. It made my job a lot easier.
Nice.
Is he a sophomore?
Junior.
Yeah, Justin's a junior, and he's been playing since his freshman year for us. He came in and he made an impact right away. He has changed the culture of our program as well, because he plays at such a high level, so intense. He plays a real physical brand of football, and I think that's spread throughout our team. He's a phenomenal player. He's our best player without a doubt. He's probably going to go down as one of the better football players that's ever played in the history of our school. And I think he's getting some notoriety statewide, and I know the
scouts are
after him, and the recruiting's picking up. He came off a real significant knee injury last year. He finished the football season his sophomore year, but he definitely wasn't 100%. And then he played hockey that winter and ended up having a tear in his knee, and wasn't able to finish his winter season or play his spring season. So he was coming off a significant injury. And we knew that going in, so we tried to be careful with him early, and kind of knowing as the team developed that we were going to probably have to really rely on him as the playoffs started and as we went through the season. But he's a really good teammate. He works hard. He's an incredible person. I've had a pleasure of coaching him, and we're lucky I get him for one more year.
Yeah.
We're going to miss this guy, and we're going to miss the seniors.
I know, right? So with that, what are things you're going to hand down to people that are coming up, all your juniors?
Well,
I'm sure there's legendary stuff there, as far as keeping them hyped up and just playing the game.
Well, they're a big group, and a lot of them have played. Like most of our starters are juniors, and they did a great job this year. And what's good for them is they have a lot of experience now going into their senior year.
Yeah.
And if they stay together, I mean, the sky's the limit for that group. And maybe they even repeat if they keep their stuff together. But yeah, we returned the whole offensive line, and they're a very dominant group down the stretch, and they're close together. And if they keep this train rolling, maybe it's another state championship next year.
There you go.
I think it's good also to see for some of the younger kids or kids that might be coming up into the program to see you guys win at the highest level, just to have kind of role models to learn from. Just want to make that point.
You guys did see that, right? He already started. So the beginning of this season, he made some comments, and he lived it up, right? And he accomplished what he set out to.
Yeah.
But he just made another comment, and you notice you didn't hear that from me about next year and things like that. So
He's already started. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Chase is a very confident individual, which is a good thing. I think that you could see that out on the field, and I'm glad he has confidence in our team and our program going forward.
And
But
that's what
we
you
got a
leave
lot of work to
behind.
do.
Oh yeah.
How do you be confident without getting too cocky, though?
That is the key
yeah.
at all levels, I think.
Yeah.
I think as coaches, as players, as anything we do, as parents, and when you go to work every day, if you think you're too good for your job or a little too big for your britches, that's just going to get you in trouble. That's not going to lead to
So
success.
true. Got to be a team player.
So I think we're ready to take our next break here.
Awesome.
WARA 1320 AM. If you want to call in, the number is 508-222-1320. You've been listening to 40 Sports Talk with Super Bowl champs Fairhaven Blue Devils. We'll be back right after this. And we are back here, WARA 1320 AM, 4 Deep Sports Talk. Justin Ferreira here, Sports Master. Catherine Conley, KC, doing the TikTok again. Lucy Cabral, Fairhaven Blue Devils here. Coach Derek Almeida and quarterback Jay Stewart and Matt Clayman here on the board. So
Good job, Matt.
That's what we
Doing
got
a
going
heck of a
on.
job.
Doing
And I
my-
know Dom is out there somewhere.
Somewhere
He's
out
on
there.
his way up to Boston
Gotta be
or
listening.
coming back. He's
Mhm.
definitely listening. And my husband's out there too listening. So if you want to call in, now'd be the time. Questions?
So you guys mentioned before a little bit, but you were able to defeat 3 really good teams in Hudson, Norwell, and Salem. So just what does that say kind of about the character of this and mindset of this group?
Well, when you get into a tournament and you're the 8 seed, it's always going to be a tough road. We were glad that we got the 8 and not any higher or lower, I guess, depending on how you look at that. But as an 8 seed, you get to play at home, and we had played really well at home the last few years. We've been dominant at home, so we were happy that we got that first round at home. But knowing that if we won, that it was going to be a tough road, and we were going to have to win some road games.
Yep.
So, we played the toughest part of our schedule, obviously, at the end of the year. But we had to go on the road and do that, and that's hard. It's hard at all levels. We really looked as a staff, could we do some things a little differently as far as how we prepare? when we go on the road. So, you asked about the Apponequet thing before that last break. And, first of all, Apponequet was a tremendous team, and they had a really good plan of how to defend us and what they wanted to do. And they really dictated that game. They kind of had, outside of the first few minutes where, we popped a couple, they really kind of controlled the game the rest of the way. And that's tough, being on the road and kind of feeling like you're really working uphill all game. So somehow we had to figure out a way to kind of change that in our favor. And heading up to Norwell, we kind of put in this whole plan of, it was the day off that day, right? That was the day we were out of school. We brought the kids in real early. We did a walkthrough. We fed them lunch. We watched a little highlight film, and then we got up to Norwell ridiculously early. They probably were like, "What the heck are these kids doing here?" I think parents were still dropping off their kids just to show up.
Oh,
And,
God.
we're down there at the
wow.
field, and I just think it just kind of changed the dynamic to we got to start being, we're just going to beat us no matter where we are and play at a certain level. And to finish the season going to Norwell, beating the number 1 seed, and then going to a neutral site and beating Hudson, which I believe was the 3 seed,
3 seed, yeah.
or 4 seed, whatever it was, and then going to Gillette and beating Salem, who was the 2 or 3 seed. I forgot how the bracket worked out, but that's an uphill battle. That's hard, and that was a challenge. But obviously we were up for it, and I think each time we got over that hurdle, it made us better. And there's that old saying of iron sharpens iron. And you get better by playing tough teams and overcoming adversity. So if you're the 1 seed and you're playing every game at home, and then you go to Gillette, I don't know, are you ready for that type of competition on the road? So in some sense, I think it was good that we had to go through that path. But it was hard. It was difficult. And then you throw in Thanksgiving, and we played Dartmouth High School, who was a phenomenal team.
Yeah, they are.
They were really good this year, and it took everything we had to be able to defeat them. So I just it was a tough stretch, that stretch you just talked about, and to go through that. With our roster and our size of school, where we get a lot of kids playing both ways, and you don't have a ton of depth. It was pretty impressive what these kids did.
So, Jace, did you have any rituals before each game heading into, the wins?
Superstitions, yeah.
Yeah, superstitions, walk-up music, anything like that.
Yeah, I wore the same thing every single
Did
game.
you really?
Yeah, I never switched it up.
Did you wash it?
Yeah, I washed it.
I don't think they all wash it. So when I hear that, that's what I worry.
It's questionable, yeah.
No, I wash it at that grosses me out. It does. But
Some of them don't. Though.
yeah,
Is that
some
true?
of them,
Yeah.
their shirts,
Really?
their white
That's
undershirts.
You don't have to name who it is.
Yeah, but
You can tell. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, here we go.
yeah, but yeah, I felt almost uncomfortable not wearing the same stuff. Like, cause we were winning early and we started to get on a roll, and once we got going on that streak, it was like, I can't not wear this stuff now. Like, it would just be bad luck. But I'm a very superstitious person, and I do the same thing, eat the same things on game day, listen to the same music.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't listen to the same song twice on game day. Like, it takes a lot mentally to prepare for these types of games
Sure does.
that we play in, and so I had to have a little bit of a ritual to keep me sane during games.
And the rest of the guys?
Yeah, so pregame we'd all go into the locker room and we'd blast music very loud. Sometimes get us in trouble because it was a little too loud, but then we'd go in, we'd all put eye black on together, get dressed together, and just get into the right frame of mind for when we go out on that field and get ready for kickoff. We're all business and we're all ready to go.
All focused. That's cool.
Justin, you got anything?
What was the hardest part to get to winning the Super Bowl?
Staying healthy. I think
It's always a
Talk
big
about that.
the kids don't worry about it all that much, because as a high school kid, you think you're invincible,
course.
and I just constantly worry about, do we have enough depth to get through an 11-game schedule, never mind ending up paying 13 like we did,
yeah.
So that's the thing that is the hardest to do, is to try to stay healthy. And also, you're going to get nicked up along the way. and really preparing some of your young kids to be ready for those moments where they might have to step in and play. So that's kind of what I think about.
Yeah, so like kind of a part two is, would you say that's also the hardest part of playing football in general too, not just necessarily limited to like the Super Bowl?
Yeah, when you combine the physical part of the game with the mental, I think as a player, and it's been a long time since I've played, but I think that's the challenge. You know, you're playing a sport that's physically demanding, but you have to concentrate mentally at such a high level, you know, and these kids being able to do that at Gillette when it really mattered, you know, make the right read, the right play, and do it with the physicality that you need. That's difficult. That's hard. And I think that's what really makes football special. It makes it different than other sports when you combine those two. You know, I think it really takes the highest level of mental toughness and physical toughness.
Yeah, down the stretch, it took a lot from us. The way we do things, it takes a different level of concentration, and we play the game at a different level than most people, and the way we run our option, and the way we play our defense. There's a lot of things mentally that goes into it, and we played down the stretch almost flawless at some points, and it goes into the preparation we had in practice all week, and the coaches had us prepared, and the game plan ended up working out in most cases. And it took a lot of effort and almost mindfulness from us players to figure everything out.
I was going to say, Coach, you gave a quote after, I think it was after winning the Super Bowl, about the culture of the team, I think, and how much importance do you place on like setting the culture and preparing in the off season, and getting everything ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, football is a year-round sport. You know, if you're going to play it and coach it at a high level, it's got to be something that you're actively thinking about and working to year-round. And if your program commits to that, which means, you know, they're going to get better in the off season, they're going to work out, they're going to lift weights, they're going to play other sports, play things at a high level, come in the summer in really good shape. You know, that really establishes the culture of your team. But again, I still think each team kind of takes on their own identity. You know, every kid has their own little personality, and when you combine all those together, you know, that's really gonna, you know, kind of choose your path for you. And you know, the identity of this team was toughness and grit and work ethic, and you know, not having a big ego. You know, you walk in, you get to work, you try to get better at what you're doing, get some rest, and come back in and do it the next day. And you know, that's what we wanted, and I think as coaches we try to establish that. I think as captains, which Chase is, he tries to establish that. But you know, I think each team kind of takes on their own identity, and whether you want to or not, you know, you don't always have that control. So I like the path that this team chose, you know, and I think it was similarly aligned to mine. So that was huge.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of said it all again. It took a lot, definitely. Especially from the summer on. We were a young team. We graduated 20-plus seniors last year.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, with only 6 seniors now coming in this year. And we all kind of bought in early because we knew this was a team that could definitely be special and do a lot of good things. And once we started winning, we knew it was going to end up taking a lot more effort and the concentration to keep going and keep the train going. And once we hit the playoff stretch, like it was tough. Those were a lot of tough games, and those were games that we had to stay together. And we fought to the end, and the Super Bowl game, it was the toughest one we played all year, definitely. And we finished it off the right way, and it was the best way for me as a senior to go out, and especially from wearing blue my whole life and watching all the losing seasons growing up. To win that game, it was definitely special.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
There you
I
go.
also know you were a nominee for the Autogram Award, right?
Yes, I was.
Cool. Cool. Congrats.
Yeah, that was a great honor. And growing up, also seeing the guys that got nominated and knowing some that won the award, that was definitely super cool for me to be able to live that and go to that ceremony. And I appreciate the nominee.
Awesome. So, shout outs to the rest of the team. I know you have a world-class trainer over there, Beth.
Yeah, we love Beth. Beth's the best.
Beth did a phenomenal job, and every time I would talk to the reporters after the games late in the season, I kept trying to give her a plug, and because she just did a great job of just handling each little thing that came up, and and working to get the athlete back on the field as quick as they could, and we talked about health before. That's a major concern in athletics, and if you're not healthy, there's no way you're going to be as good of a team as you can be. And when you're playing that much football at the end of the season versus very, very good teams that are very physical, it was hard to get through that. And she did an excellent job. So I'm glad you mentioned her.
Oh yeah,
She's been with us now for a couple of years, and she made a huge impact on our program and on our team this year. She was a big part of it.
Did you have a lot of injuries, players?
Not major. We went a few seasons where we were kind of getting those major knee injuries or those major shoulder injuries that kind of shut kids down for the season. We didn't have that, but we did have a lot of your typical, week-to-week things that were bothering people: shoulders, knees, ankles, hamstrings, that type of stuff. So, and that's really when a trainer can make a difference. I mean, you're not going to fix a blown ACL,
right.
Kids out for a time period, but when kids are working through, injuries that aren't major, but they're keeping them from operating at 100%, she did a great job of that. Including this guy who did have a significant knee injury in the semifinal game. He didn't get to finish the Thanksgiving Day game because it was still bothering him a little bit, but I think
did
he
you blow it out?
ready to
What
go.
happened?
No, I just have a little bone bruise, but it was a tough hit I took, and getting up and moving around, you could still kind of feel it a little bit. So, but Beth got me to a point where, come state championship time, I was ready to go.
Cool.
So.
He did take a big hit, and I don't know if I told you this, but their head coach, his son was the quarterback, and he was also the kid that made the good hit on Jace. And they reached out to me right after that game, and were checking on him and wanted to make sure he was healthy. So a lot of respect to them.
That's nice,
thought that was a really nice thing that both the coach and the player did.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
I think we're ready to take our last break here.
Woo.
WARA 1320 again. Phone number is 508-222-1320. We'll be back for our last segment right after this.
Trying to get
And we are back again, WARA 1320 AM, 40 Sports Talk on this Saturday morning. We have Justin Ferreira, the Sports Master, Catherine Conley, KC, doing the TikTok again. How are we doing on TikTok?
About 155 viewers tuned in.
That's awesome.
There we go.
That's awesome. And so,
We're
we
famous.
are streaming.
Yep.
Definitely. We've got a lot of looks on this show. It's really interesting who you get. Like I said, Dom, that's why Dom does this. I really do. Only because not only the looks, but it puts everybody out there. And highlight, your season, your careers, where you're going, and we love doing that. And these guys are all interns. I was an intern coming into this. I had no idea what I was getting into. My thing was I wanted to be, remember Hazel May?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
so I wanted to be Hazel May. I grew up watching Red Sox games with my dad, and he loved, calling games. And so I was scoring. I was, just watching her do that. And I thought, wow, I want to do that. And so this show we've had a lot of interns on this show, interviewing, guests and just learning how to be a broadcaster. And it's just a lot of fun, just being you. And these guys are doing a tremendous job here. Dom, I know you're listening. I'm sure you're very proud of them. But I want to give a shout out to these guys. Very
Appreciate
good. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
We're trying.
Hazel was before our time, right?
Yes, she was. All right, Maddie, what do you got?
So I wanted to ask something about. So you played on Gillette. So how is the field there, the turf? 'Cause I know there's been a lot of controversy about that.
I think it was beautiful. I mean,
Really?
you walk in that
Yeah.
stadium and they got that huge new jumbotron.
Ugh.
And,
The big lighthouse. Yeah.
We have some nice turf at our school. We just put it in a couple years ago.
Yeah?
And a lot of the turf you play on isn't great. It's not a
Right.
great surface.
Yeah.
But I thought Gillette was really nice, and I think it played well. And but just to play in that stadium, I mean, what else can you ask for?
That's gotta be amazing. It's good stuff.
New TV they built was great.
The big screen.
Yeah.
It actually you can get a little bit from it too as you're playing, because they replay things right away.
Right.
Yeah.
And they also have the live feed going, so you can see the players and the coaches at times kind of looking up at the jumbotron, trying to rewatch something or get a little better angle or whatever. So
I was at the stadium as the TV was being sold, and it was weird being in the inside of the bars and just seeing it empty.
oh, they weren't all there to watch the favorite.
No,
Blue Devils?
no, there was no game at the time, so that's why it was weird
They're
to see
just
it empty.
installing it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So how about the rest of the team? Let's give a shout out to all your coaches and other players. And
And he might go to the same, but I gotta go to the OL, our offensive lineman. We brought really one player back that had a decent amount of varsity experience. So we were really going to start 5 new players on our offensive line, and they worked tremendously hard in the off season. They got a lot stronger, and they looked okay to start in August. But if you had to pick a spot that was going to be a weak area going in, it was there. And there was some struggles early. We have 3 really intense, experienced offensive line coaches. Scott Francis, my father Dana Almeida, and Dave Donnelly, who works with our younger kids. They just did a great job every day getting those kids better, improving technique, and those kids bought in. And they, if you watch them from day one till how they performed at Gillette, they were phenomenal. So, we had Zach Moore at center. We had Ben Comey and Finn Reynolds as our 2 offensive guards, A.J. Medeiros and Anthony Montero as our 2 tackles. And then Adam Maraccio, who's probably the strongest kid in our program, but he's one of the smallest. And he was our 6th offensive lineman. But because of injuries and also formations, he got to play a ton. And he ended up being basically a starter for us as well. And then you throw in a couple of younger defensive linemen, Nathan Pickup and D'Souza. Those kids just did a great job. So, it's got to be the linemen. That's where the game is won, is up front in the trenches at all levels. And I was really proud of those coaches and those kids for doing that.
nice.
Yeah, I was gonna go with the O-line too. Yeah.
Stole your thunder on that one. I could see it coming.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time with them too. The offensive line. We go to dinner every week. That was one thing that we wanted to accomplish from the start, is that we spend a lot of time together and grow close. And those five or six guys that are our starting offensive linemen, they're so tight together and they all hang out. And watching them grow from the beginning of August all the way to November 30th was amazing, because they just got so much better and they started to dominate people late at and be very good at what they do. And my job back there was very easy, and it was a lot to do with how they played late, and they did a lot of things well.
Nice. So aside from the OL line,
I think the next group I'd go to, that'd probably be the secondary kids, our defensive backs. We play with 5 DBs back there, and that Salem team came into the game where, they were throwing the ball all over the place. How many touchdown passes did that quarterback have?
Like 28, 29.
He had a lot going in, and they had some weapons. We asked those kids to play like true man-to-man with no help defense, because, we're going to go into a game trying to stop the run. And we're going to commit as many bodies as we can to stop people from just handing the ball off. So, we expect our kids to be able to hold up in those one-on-one, man-to-man situations. So I think, if I had to pick a group, that really was the big part of our team, would be the OL. But I think the secondary and our DBs would be the second. This would be my second nod.
Yeah.
Nice. Rest of the team.
Yeah, our young guys, our sophomore class, our freshman class, they were very supportive, even the ones that weren't necessarily playing on special teams and stuff. And the biggest shout-out would honestly be our scout team. Without our scout team, we wouldn't have got the looks that we needed throughout the week. And those guys took a beating, one, because there wasn't anyone that was, holding back from hitting those younger guys. And they did a great job giving us the look every week. And without them, our defense wouldn't be able to adjust to the things that we needed to adjust to, and they did a great job.
Yeah, I gotta echo in on that too, the scout teams, and I think sometimes young kids in programs, not just football but all sports, can get a little lost. They don't feel as they're getting the love and getting the attention, and it can be hard to be a freshman and sophomore in a program when the varsity kids are getting all the attention and newspaper articles and all the fanfare, and you can get lost there, and it's hard for those kids. But they're such an important component, and in some senses, it's harder to do what they do. I mean, you're asking in football, freshmen and sophomores and juniors that might not be full-time varsity guys to go mimic someone else's players in plays. It's hard enough to do what you're being taught to do. At a high level, never mind trying to be the scout team and do what someone else is doing. Was it always perfect? No. But again, I think those kids bought into the coaching and listening and trying to do the best they can. And, I think those kids gave us a great look all year long. And I'm really excited about some of the young kids in our program. They got a lot of work to do. They got some things they need to work on and off-season stuff to commit to. And hopefully they follow the lead that our leadership of our past couple of years has provided. But I definitely get a second what Jay said there with the scout teams. And again, I think that happens in every sport. Some young kids they lose interest because of that.
Yep.
So keep your heads up, young guys.
There you go.
It's gonna be your turn soon. And when you play against the varsity, and take advantage of that. Really work hard and go through that, because it is a process. And by junior, senior year, I think some good things will happen to you.
Nice. Sounds really promising.
Well, I think that'll...
Oh! Can you hold that?
I think we're still here.
We're still here? Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Quick, yeah. I didn't know what was happening there, 'cause the timer is still going, because I think we went a little bit longer on one of the breaks, but
Okay.
I think we're still here. So,
Okay.
well, I guess that'll wrap it up here.
Oh, my goodness. That went by
That was
really
amazing.
fast, didn't
It
it? I want to thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
awesome.
It's a great interview.
Absolutely
Yeah, I
awesome.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
welcome.
congratulations. I had a couple more questions to ask, but it looks like we are out of time.
Time flies here. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we want to have you come back in next season.
Sure.
Definitely.
Sure.
Let us know where you're at and the legacy that these guys have left for the team. And, again,
We would love to.
congratulations. Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for listening this Saturday morning. 40 Sports Talk, WAR 1320. We'll be back next week. Signing off.